Really hypes me out. Alright, so we are back on Daybreak. Apparently it's repeats of the first game are allowed, so here we are back on Daybreak. It's a good map though, I'm not that mad about it. But we're going to have aBstract, the guy who's taken out 2 of UR's members so far, as the red Protoss on the top right, and his new opponent, another Zerg, is going to be Zavi, the blue Zerg in the bottom left. We're going to have to see if aBstract goes for that gateway expand again, which is really interesting. I'd really like to see the build for it and whatnot. I've been studying a few builds lately, but that is not one. I actually just recently learned the 2-base Colossus all-in, because I see it all the time, and I'm always like, is this going to be it, or are they just going to expand off of this? Like, what are you doing? So I finally learned it, so I can actually sound really smart. It's a dream I have to sound really intelligent. Sometimes. One day, I'm going to actually see it come true. But it does look like he's going to be doing the gateway expand again. So as you can see, the 9 pylon is in fact in his own base. That does not happen in the Forge Fast expand. There is actually, I think Sasa is the one who does it, who actually just puts this pylon here and then just says, you know what, I'll also put one down here and just do the Forge Fast expand anyways. And it seems to be that he'll scout on 9, go and see if the pool is up, or if something weird he doesn't like what he's seeing comes up, that he can put a gateway and a forge up here. And if he doesn't see that, then he just goes ahead and the Forge Fast expand. But that's a really distinct style that I think only he does. But as you can see, the gateway and the gas are going down. So this is just like a, any other build for Protoss besides PvZ. This is what it looks like. And this is the gateway expand pretty much. And then after a while, you're going to get the Nexus and the Forge as well. We'll have to see exactly when. But on the Zerg side, getting that pull up, very standard stuff. I really don't expect anything less than a 3-base, although I kind of take that back because he could have watched this game. It was the exact same map. aBstract is doing the exact same thing. So he could say, well, actually, I'm going to go into 2 bases, and I'm going to go on only 2 bases, and I'm going to all-in you. Are you okay with that? Good, because I'm going to do it. He could do that. He could say that that's the way to beat aBstract. Although pretty much the gateway expand is meant to make sure that doesn't kill you. Things like roach rushes. So it's going to be really interesting to see if that actually works. But we do see a gas steal. That's kind of what I was kind of like, what are you doing, when I saw 2 extractors making. But yeah, just going for the gas steal. It's so rare nowadays that you see a gas steal in a ZVP, I feel. Usually, you get in there and you get out before the cannon gets up. But obviously Zavi knows something about the build that I don't. Maybe that the fact that the second gas is actually really, really, really important. Which I guess it is. The Zealot has been, of course, brought out to take care of it, which is already something a little different that aBstract had to do. Last game, or last ZVP that we saw in aBstract's build, no Zealot was there. He actually just pushed out with 2 Stalkers, so the Zealot's definitely there to take down the building so he can get that gas up. But now it's also going to be used for that push that we saw in that first game, that really kind of like oddly timed push, where the Zerg kind of like what are you doing? You're not supposed to be pushing right now, and then they kind of overreact sometimes. But as you can see, Stalker, 1 Zealot, pylons on the low ground now. And finally the Nexus comes up at 5 minutes, apparently. If any of you are looking for the build order, that's the timing. But 4 Zerglings, kind of the perfect amount in the ZVP. Take 2 Xel'Nagas, 1 to stay at the front of the base, and then 1 to go search for proxy pylons, because taking that proxy pylon out really cuts the power of a 2-base all-in. Not, a whole amount, but definitely helps you if you can get the proxy pylon to be a little later than the Protoss wants. Now, this Zergling, unfortunately, is going to die without really seeing anything, so poor Zergling, kind of a wasted life. Its twin should hopefully do better in its life, and we shall see. There it goes. But the Forge is now up. Zavi, of course, looked at that and said, okay, that's definitely not the timing of Forge Fast expand, so he pretty much knows there was a gateway expand. The Overlord here is going to be able to see the 2 gases, so that'll really tell him what aBstract is planning on doing, depending on how many gases, or if he gets any gases at all. That'll be very, very informative for a Zerg player. If he gets no gases, that's a lot of times a 7-gate all-in. Why do I know that? Because that's the one all-in I use. Yeah. The easiest to spot, really, on Daybreak. I think, part of the reason that Zergs like Daybreak so much is that the Overlord's suicidal positions are so nice. You got this right here to see the 2 gases, and then there's not Well, I mean, there's really one back here, but if you kind of like skirt the overlord around, you can still see it, but definitely some nice positions for the overlord to sit, including like right here and stuff like that. But actually, I want to point out one thing that we see something different going on. Daybreak kind of like goes hand in hand with that 3-base Zerg that came around. It was like when Daybreak came around, sort of the 3-base or fast 3-base Zerg. But he's only going to be on 2 bases. He's going up to lair. He's getting all 4 gases. Or, whoa, what is this? This is not what I expected. I definitely expected some fast Mulas to go ahead and surprise aBstract, but it does look like it's going to be a Hydralisk. If this is the case, then I definitely expect a Nidus. That's like the one thing that you can do. Because obviously his creep spread is not that great. And Hydralisk are slow off of creep. So this is just really weird. This is something that's also really old. Is a Hydralisk bust. If you played Brood War, you'd be like, oh, Hydralisk bust is so good. But in StarCraft 2, it's you get a Nidus at the front. If you can't get it anywhere else on the map or in their base, you get it at the front, and then you Nidus Hydralisk into their front, and you can actually do some damage. But he's also getting a 3rd right now. He's only getting 1 Hydralisk. They're also really expensive. That's a lot of a reason that people don't get it. But as you can see, there is actually an all-in coming. There's 3, 4, 5, 6 gates and no gases. Not yet anyways, but there they go. So Zavi was, in fact, noticing that the entire time. But, of course, now he's seeing the composition of aBstract. And I have to wonder what Zavi is thinking. The Hydras will actually do really, really well against this composition. They're going to be on creep, and wow, he catches 2 sentries that had actually the most energy as possible. But, okay, so he's just going to Ling Hydra. This is something that you see not really that much in actual gameplay, like broadcasted matches, but I know Lasir was doing it on a stream for a while, and it was really good at holding those 2-base all-ins that were really plaguing Zerg for so long, so this is really interesting. Unfortunately, once they're off of creep, their use is nullified. Luckily, there's no more force fields. If there were, that would have been really dangerous. But he really shouldn't chase after them. Unless he had, like, creep spread, like an Overlord creep highway, or if he had a Nidus, then go ahead and chase after him. But this is going to be really, really dangerous. Now, on the other hand, aBstract's thinking, whoa, what are you doing? You're getting Hydralisk? Like, that's not what you're supposed to do, man. So he could be a little floundering right now. And because what you do against Hydralisk when you know they're going to go Hydralisk, which is most likely after a Stargate, is you get Colossus, and you're like, okay, I have splash damage, then good luck getting through the Colossus with Hydralisk. But now he's nowhere near Colossus tech. He can, of course, hold this because of the sentries. No way those Hydralisks are getting up there. They're too slow. They're not even going to catch him by surprise. He has the longest time ever to get the force field down. And the Hydralisk really... I mean, he can't really send them back either, because if he just says, okay, I'm not getting up there, I'll just come back with like 1,000 minerals or more worth of Hydralisk, the Hydras become useless once he gets Colossus. So, alright, well the force fields are down, so enough talk, here comes the action. The force fields are down, he's in a tight corner, and I think the Hydras are actually going to win this. This is so weird. He's actually back on 2 bases, as you can see. He never remade his 3rd. The Zealots are really going to, just hack through these Hydralisk, and the fact that reinforcements are so slow. He's making 11 Hydralisk with, 7 already on the field, but his Hydra's here, dead. If they could have microed against the Zealots, they would have had a little more of a chance. But they couldn't. So the DPS is high, mobility low, and people, sometimes they underestimate the fact that mobility really helps. And the Hydralisks die a painful death. And now he has like 14 Hydralisks that are going to be completely useless once Colossus and or Storm comes out. And as we can see from our Protoss player, he's actually getting Storm with the Templar Archives. And not even just Storm, Archons too do amazing amounts of damage in Splash, and Hydralisk, as slow as they are, they really clump up. I mean, there is hardly any microing, no suckers, so... Already, he's countered a lot of the Zerg player's army, and the Zerg's economy is not good at all. 43 drones versus 63 probes, you should never see that happen. He's currently trying to buff up his army with roaches, but now there's speed lots as well with force fields, so... They are definitely hitting the Hydralisk, and Hydralisk are glass cannons. I know you guys have heard that statement before, but it's so true. Once things can go up to them and actually hit them, they are gone, they are dead, it's over. They need roaches and they need creep to be effective, and they need to be in larger numbers than this, to be honest. He's actually still up by 30 supply, but that should change really soon. The third base economy is going to be booming. He's going to have his production up, as you can see. These gateways are going to finish. The High Templars are going to have Storm eventually, actually, 20 seconds away from Storm. But Zealots are going to fall really, really fast. That's, once again, we're seeing the power of the Hydralisk, and now they finally have some roaches to back them up with a whole trail of roaches to help them. The Force Fields are being used, so there's only a few more left, which is going to really turn the tides of this battle. And Zavi might actually, this might be the push that just catches aBstract off guard enough to actually push him back. Now Storm has finished, but he hasn't actually warped in any High Templars with backup energy. This is so weird. aBstract really should have had the counter to this already, and instead he's being forced to pull probes. Now remember, he does have like 60 probes. That's a lot of probes to lose. But still, he's got to surround. He's trying to micro Hydralisk, which never actually work. And the High Templars are finally being warped in. Archons are the best bet right now. He really should have been doing that in the first place. But now the Archons are going to be here. But unfortunately, or rather, fortunately for Zavi, he's been actually backing this up with roaches, which is what he really should be doing. The Hydralisk have done a lot of damage, but they're not going to be that great right now. They're going to take forever to get over here. I don't like this option of getting 6 more. But, there's so little Protoss army that he actually do whatever he wants, which is really weird. I'm going to admit that I'm really surprised that this worked. I think that aBstract just underestimated the power of Hydralisk. Zavi did interesting things that probably made aBstract go, whoa, what are you doing? And no Archons and no